Okay, so our death march through The Witcher 3 continues. After learning of Yennefer's whereabouts, we race back to Vesemir at the inn in White Orchard. Tensions have reached a boiling point. The Nilfgaardian war machine has sown malice and bitterness throughout the townsfolk. Those who were once friends, now at each other's throats. Caught up in a hurricane of emotion, we defend ourselves from the locals, and in turn, make things so much worse. We leave the inn to be faced with that which we seek. Yennefer of Vengerberg has found us. While in Vizima, a report was given to her about a witcher spotted in White Orchard. She beelined for the small village. Reunited at last, we set off for the capital for an audience with the Emperor. With Yennefer found, Vesemir sets off to return to Kaer Morhen to bolster its walls for the upcoming winter. We set off, bound for Vizima. We have barely left White Orchard when a pack of familiar horsemen set upon us. Like shades out of a nightmare, the wild hunt chase us down. Our Nilfgaardian guardsmen fall one by one to the hunt, picked off like fish in a barrel. Narrowly, Yen and I escape, though for how long, we cannot say. With haste, we launch towards the safe walls of Vizima, a silhouette on the horizon. Now, I bet you thought I was going to show you Geralt in a bathtub again, but you'd be wrong. Oh man, who am I kidding? Here's Geralt in the bathtub again. We are introduced to the Emperor's personal chamberlain, who is infuriatingly snooty. However, he does allow for one of my favourite interactions in the whole game. Geralt is forced to dress in actual clothing, which he does not feel great about, and honestly, I can relate. Whenever I have to wear actual pants, I get irritated as well. The Chamberlain then tries his best to instruct us on the finer points in the art of bowing.
I must confirm that he knows how to bow.
Confirm away.
Please, this is neither the time nor the place for such antics. The gentleman will watch carefully.
It actually makes me laugh every time. Geralt is literally me if I was in this situation. When I have sufficiently proved my bowing prowess, the Chamberlain escorts me to meet Emperor Emir var Emreis. And for the first time in my life, I actually decide to follow the etiquette of the court and I bow to His Excellency. If you don't bow, the Chamberlain will complain that he is the one who will be punished for my display of defiance. And I kind of felt like being nice to him this time around.
I thought you bowed before no man.
Didn't want to disappoint the Chamberlain. We're friends.
The Emperor has called me to Vizima to discuss the reappearance of his daughter. And his daughter is none other than... Yes, Ciri has returned, and the wild hunt is hot on her trail. Geralt's dream has turned into reality. Emir has tasked us with finding her, protecting her, and returning her to her rightful place. After the audience, we are escorted to meet with the woman we began this adventure chasing. Finally, we are reunited with Yennefer. But we can't spend any quality time together. She informs us that she has been trying her utmost to track down Ciri, but her methods, primarily her magic, has been alerting the Wild Hunt and hindering her search efforts. This is why we have been brought in to the search. Witches are notoriously good at tracking, and Geralt is one of the best. Plus, our personal tie to Ciri is the only motivation that we really need to get out there and find her. Though we found Yen, our time together is cut short as she leaves for the Isle of Skellige following a lead. I am to head to the city of Novigrad to meet up with another sorceress, Triss Merigold. With the formality and meetings of the capital behind us, and our task of finding Ciri at the forefront of our minds, we are free to head for Velen. Before that, however, we have to pay one last visit to someone in Vizima. This guy. Yeah, he thinks he's better than me at Gwent, and I have to prove him wrong. Now, usually this encounter takes me a few tries to beat him, but I absolutely decimate him first go. And now, our time in Vizima has officially come to an end. We arrive in No Man's Land, a part of Velen that has been ravaged by the war. Wasting no time, we head towards the small war-torn village of Mulbrydale, and we decide to help the locals forget their fallen loved ones by stealing everything from their homes. Thoroughly making sure that no sad memories are left in the village, we set off towards the inn at the crossroads. Along the way, we run into a priest flanked by a couple of guards. The priest asks us to find battlefields that have begun to attract the attention of various necrophages and burn the corpses that lay at the sites. We set about cleansing the fallen with the eternal flame. At the last of these mass grave sites, we find a man fighting for his life against a group of ghouls. We help him out, and he tells us that he deals in fist tech, and that the priest is one of his best buyers. However, this time, he was attacked and robbed and left to die. We were going to inadvertently burn his body and destroy any evidence that this holy priest ever did anything wrong. We let the fist tech dealer live to deal another day and set off to find the priest. Now, I don't like to play judge, jury, and executioner, but that's exactly what I played. In Geralt's own words,
You can hire me, but you sure as hell can't buy me.
and so I dole out justice and then continue on my merry way. We make it to the inn at the crossroads, where we are to meet with the innkeeper, who will provide us with information on tracking down one of the Emperor's royal spies, a man named Hendrik. Before we can get too well acquainted with the innkeep, a group of bandits barge in and start talking shit. Obviously, they didn't hear what went down last time I got into a bar fight. This time around, I choose the route of diplomacy and shout everybody a round of drinks.
Bottoms up.
After everyone has calmed down, the innkeep tells me that Hendrik can be found in the nearby village of Heatherton. Before we even step foot in the village, something is off. Snow lines the rooftops, and a thin mist shrouds the nearby huts. This can only mean one thing. A white Christmas! No. The Wild Hunt. They have beaten me here. A survivor tells me of their arrival, the chaos that ensued, villagers slaughtered, and Hendrik tortured. We find his mangled, lifeless body, and we find a key stashed in one of his boots. The Wild Hunt did not search him well enough. In that same hut that Hendrik lay dead, we find a hidden cellar. Inside, we find a note from Hendrik. This gives us several different leads. One being the Bloody Baron, the other being an unidentified witch. We choose to search for the witch. In our travels to the sleepy village of Midcopse, we happen upon the biggest group of neckers I have ever seen. Now, neckers aren't particularly difficult to deal with, but when there are thousands of them surrounding you, it can get a little bit dicey. With the help of Magic Trap and my own skillful dodging abilities, I handled the necker onslaught, though I did come closer to death than I would have liked. left. Looting the pesky little fuckers, I managed to snag myself a lesser blue mutagen, which I am finally able to equip in my skill tree. Pairing the blue mutagen with sign abilities gives Geralt a bonus to sign intensity. As we only have a lesser mutagen, the intensity bonus is only 15%, but hey, it's editing Capra. So, as you can see on the screen, the math ain't mathing. Capra just said he only got 15%, but he's actually got 28%. So, I killed enough neckers here that I actually managed to combine 3 lesser blue mutagens into a normal blue mutagen, which is why I have the 28% increase. Sorry for the, sorry that I'm dumb. That is 15% more than what we just had. No matter what, this is a big advantage. Just down the road from the Neckers, we come across a lynch mob. 4 men have captured a Nilfgaardian soldier. Usually, I would have just let them go about their business. However, this captured man begs for his life. He tells the men that he has deserted the army. He flees for his home to be reunited with his family. The mob wants none of it, and so I intervene. These men were already out for blood and violence, so it is blood and violence that they shall receive. I cut them down. I trade 4 lives for 1. Whether this was the right decision or not, I'll probably never know. And again, this plays into the running theme of The Witcher. There is no good, only the lesser evil.
It was the lesser evil, I think.
Getting closer to Midcops, I stumble upon a small hut. A body hangs lifelessly from a tree, and inside the hut, a mother and child lay motionless on the only bed. I have played this game for hundreds of hours, and I've never seen or been near this hut before. It's grim, and it displays just how heartless the world of The Witcher is. I'm not too sure about the lore surrounding this hut or these people, so I can't really say what happened here. And maybe that's the point of this landmark, a stark reminder that Velen, that no man's land, is nothing more than a horrific place. Arriving in Midcops finally, I sell a bunch of the junk weighing me down and challenge the merchant to a friendly game of Gwent. Of course, there's nothing friendly about it, as I go for the throat and mercilessly destroy him. I also pay the blacksmith a visit, and he's holding on to some treasure maps which I promptly purchase off him. And can you believe it? He also is available to play Gwent. Once more, we face off in a friendly card duel, and once more, I ruthlessly decimate him. No doubt, my victory will be felt decades from now throughout his entire family bloodline. One of the inhabitants of Midcops tells me where I can find the local witch, and I set off, bound for a solitary hut outside of the village. And to Geralt's great surprise, we come across Now, in classic Witcher fashion, when we come face to face with Kira, a bathtub scene is laid out before us. As much as we all love bathtubs and The Witcher, this scene includes female nipples instead of male ones, and therefore I am unable to show it. So, here's my version of Kira's bathtub scene. Anyways, Kira has information regarding Ciri and a certain elven mage that was also searching for her. With Kira now by our side, we head for the elves' hideout in search of anything that may lead us to Cirilla. In an absolute twist that nobody saw coming, the Wild Hunt has beaten us to the hideout. Shocking. Kira opens a portal for us to catch up to the hunt, but something goes wrong, and the 2 of us get split up. I take my time and I poke through the hideout, looting everything in sight. I also stumble upon a foglet, and this fella turns out to be quite challenging. I didn't die to it, but I'm not gonna lie, I had basically accepted a death here. I just couldn't get its attack patterns down, and I kept getting greedy with magic trap. I came out victorious, however, and moments later, I run into another monster for the first time, a water hag. Far easier to deal with than foglets. However, water hags hit hard. And again, I was ready to face another death. It never came though, and I managed to scrape by. After running around the hideout like a headless goose, I finally catch up with Kira, and she has found herself some little friends.
Geralt, do something! They're crawling out of those holes! Use a sign or bombs, anything! Stay calm. They're only rats.
We continue through the cave system, and I continue to have brushes with death. No matter what I pick a fight with, I barely come out with my life. I do manage to loot a bunch of good stuff though, so the near-death experiences, they're definitely worth it. Getting closer to the wild hunt, we do battle with a golem. This fight was basically a joke with Magic Trap. But also, Kira just stunlocked the shit out of the golem for the most part as well. We take it down together and push forward until we face off against another new monster, a gargoyle. Same deal as the golem. Magic Trap basically lefted, righted, and goodnighted the stone creature. Although, I'm not gonna lie, it did hit incredibly hard. Also, Kira was just a huge help in this fight, let me tell you. Finally, we catch up with the Wild Hunt. They have a mage in their ranks, and he summons the White Frost, a deadly piece of magic. Luckily for us, Kira can guide us through it, but we need to close the frost portals. Again, Magic Trap made short work of the onslaught of frost hounds, and we pretty easily make it through this obstacle. One of the Wild Hunt has stayed behind to greet us. Nithrol is his name, and he means business. Wielding a giant axe, he delivers devastating blows. Unfortunately for him, I wield Magic Trap and Kira Metz, and this essentially stun locks him for the entire fight. I could imagine this fight being kinda dicey under normal circumstances, but I am no normal circumstance. No, I am cheese. Nithrol goes down without any major issue and we give chase, but the Wild Hunt has vanished. The Elven Mage has left a message for Ciri. It appears that they know each other quite well. The Mage has warned Ciri of the Witches of Crookback Bog. This is another lead for us to follow up on later. Kira bestows upon us an amulet, the Eye of Nehalini. It's able to dispel any illusions, and it just so happens that an illusion is blocking our exit. We make for the exit of the cave, but Kira asks our help to find a lamp. A magic lamp. A riddle door stands in our way, and I display my uncanny knack for dealing with puzzles in a thoughtful and wise way.
Lit up like a charm. There it goes.
Just wonderful.
Once we get through that stupid riddle door, we are faced with a second golem. This one gets absolutely dominated. With Kira's lamp secured and a surprising amount of loot for us as well, we can make our way to the exit of the cave. Outside, Kira asks us to return to her when we have time, and since I am down bad for witches and sorceresses of all kinds, I decide that now would be the perfect time to visit her again. Searching for Ciri? Psh, rendezvousing with Triss Marigold? I don't think so. As I find my path back to the main road, I am ambushed by an absolute contingent of wraiths. I have never seen so many attack all at once. The fact that I survived this is actually insane. I would say that this is the perfect example of just how broken Magic Trap is, but that would happen a few minutes later when I pick a fight with a Noon Wraith that is 10 levels higher than me. We are on Death March, and I take on a Noon Wraith 10 levels higher than me. Just let that sink in. Look at what Magic Trap does to this thing. I quickly bounce around the map, selling off all my junk to whoever would take it, and amass a small fortune of nearly 4.5 grand. Not bad for just starting out. Back at Kira's hut, she asks us to check out Fyke Isle, a cursed island in the middle of a lake. She has promised the locals that she would lift the curse. However, she is unable to set foot on the isle as the curse is powerful, and it wreaks havoc on the magic that flows through her. We agree and set out to the isle. Upon reaching Fyke Isle, we set about culling the local population of monsters. Ghouls, drowners, rot fiends, all fall to my blade. Also, rot fiends, my favourite creatures to fight. It's so satisfying how they explode, except for how they, you know, sound like a cat vomiting up a hairball. That's not so cool. Kira also gave us her precious magic lamp so that we could hopefully uncover some of the mystery that plagues this small island. We use it on remnants of the past, ghosts trapped in time. We learned that peasants from a nearby village raided the island and the tower that stands upon it, hoping to kill the nobles hiding there and to steal their valuables. A mage named Alexander also lived on the isle, committing himself to experiment on rats and humans alike, hoping to find a cure for the plague. Annabelle, the daughter of the nobleman, well, she was in love with one of these peasants. When the brigade of peasants attacked the tower and those inside, she drank a potion given to her by Alexander and fell into a deep sleep. However, she awoke, paralyzed, and the rats that Alexander experimented on, well, they ate Annabelle. Annabelle is now cursed to stay upon Fyke Isle forever. She begs us to take her bones from the island, to deliver them to her lover, Graham, a peasant in the nearby town of Oraton. We refuse to take the cursed items from the island. That's just asking for trouble. She gets pissed, really pissed.
You never wished to help me, and here I have someone would finally take pity on me. Stupid
We fight Annabelle, who has turned into her cursed form, a type of wraith known as a pester. We defeat her, though we cannot put her out of her misery due to the curse. We make sail for Oraton to find Graham, to get the full story of what happened on that island. He led the peasants to Fyke Isle. His plan was to grab Annabelle while the chaos ensued, to escape and make a life for themselves. That plan did not work out, surprisingly. Upon finding Annabelle amongst the carnage, she appeared dead. We know that she was just in a deep sleep from the potion. Graham, convinced she was dead, leaves the island, though not before uttering a curse on the names of those who had laid such destruction to his beloved. Graham agrees to follow us back to the Tower of Mice to confront his Annabelle, to release her from the curse. And what follows is one of the most disturbing cutscenes to ever grace the world of video games.
Is that?
It's me, Annabelle. The one you abandoned, remember? Kiss me.
Graham, careful.
With the curse of Fyke Isle now lifted, we return to Kira. She has one more request for us. A shipment she ordered, it's gone missing, and she desperately requires the special package. Once again, me, being extremely down bad, agree to find her missing shipment. We find the courier, and he's not doing so crash hot. But, more importantly than the courier, we found Kira's lost package. I set out, bound for Kira once more, only to come across an Arrakis, a decently sized creature, and I decide to test myself, and I nearly die immediately.
Long you gonna make me wait?
Once more, I manage to scrape by the skin of my pants, and I put the creature down. Back at Kira's hut, she unveils her plan for this surprise package, and it's a date night. Yes! I knew all of my groveling and doing whatever she wanted me to do would eventually pay off. We enjoy a delicious meal and then play a game of hide and seek, or as Geralt likes to call it,
Guess we're playing hunt the hare, not hide and seek.
Kira and Geralt become Keralt for the night. And after 15 seconds of fun, we look upon the vast sky, an infinite sea of stars above, and Kira leans in to whisper sweet nothings.
Egfain Nave.
Kira? Where? Put me to sleep with a spell. Means she's up to something.
Doesn't matter. had sex. We follow Kira to Fyke Isle, and she emerges from the tower, Alexander the Major's notes firmly in her grasp. She intends to give these notes to King Radovid, an avid witch killer, in exchange for her freedom. We manage to talk sense into her, tell her that going to Radovid can only end in one way, and that way will not be happy. Kira agrees to instead go to Kaer Morhen. There, she will not be pursued by witch hunters, or forced into dealing with the local peasants. And that is where Volume 2 of my Death March playthrough comes to an end. We have helped Kira Metz, and now we can concentrate on hunting down Ciri before the Wild Hunt can get to her. Now, we turn to the Bloody Baron. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in Volume 3.